Oh, the beautiful enjoyment of retail. Today we have a fun one for you guys. It's a little bit of a story time, but today is a day that we marked that we got a bicycle taken from our store. Now this comes across from pretty much credit card fraud, but it was picked up in our store locally. Now, this video is for educational purposes, so that way if any of you guys own a store or in the business, it doesn't happen to you, and this can apply to anything. But we'll talk about our woes with this kind of situation. Our store's been around for 40 plus years. We don't only sell high-end, we also sell pretty entry-level cruisers, so like beach cruisers, mountain bikes, single speeds and stuff like that. So every once in a while we'll get the occasional someone walks into a store with a bike and they'll try to run out with it. Someone goes on a test ride with a bicycle and they'll give us a fake ID and a fake credit card and do a test ride and be gone with it. We'll get the occasional credit card fraud where back in the day people were doing that where they're taping in credit cards and then they would come back as chargebacks. But today we experienced something new, and obviously with technology that makes it simpler for computers, it also makes it simpler to steal. And with times getting tighter and times getting tougher, you're going to see more and more of this obviously throughout the country. So our store was just one of the stores that were hit, but immediately afterwards, after this speculation on this guy that I was like, from the get-go, I was like, man, this doesn't seem right. Immediately after the bicycle left our store, another guy came in trying to do the exact same thing, and then he just ran out. So we'll get into the story time. But yes, if you guys want to hear our woes with it, I can always do a series on this. I had a guy literally try to steal a stump jumper off our floor, run in, grab a stump jumper off the floor, run out, go down. Luckily, we have amazing customers who saw him down the street and stopped him, whooped his ass, and held him there until the cops came. We also had a guy come in and do some scoping out for a Tarmac SL5 back in the day, where he literally took the bike on a test ride, gave us a car key, and obviously the car key was fake. We never assumed anything else, and that was the end of that one. We got that bike back. I could tell a story on that one as well. But today's bicycle. So the situation at hand was, it's the middle of the day. We have a customer who called up and basically said and spoke to one of our newer employees, and he spoke only Spanish. Now we're in South Florida, so we have Miami, so we get a lot of Spanish-speaking customers, and that's why we have Spanish-speaking employees as well. But he only spoke Spanish, so that's why he spoke to our newer employee. Basically saying, hey, he spun the story as this. Hey, I'm at work right now. I'm on my lunch break, but it's my son's birthday, and I need a bicycle, an electric bicycle, and I need it today. I'm on lunch break. Money is no issue. What do you got? And so my sales associate went down and said, hey, we have this bicycle right here, basically a Denago City bike, which we sell a good amount of these things. We had the Denago City 2 bike, but I think it was like $1,500 or $1,600. And he's like, it's going to be a great bike. Your son's going to love it. $1,600. The guy's like, awesome. Starts setting up the account, typing a name, typing a number. This is where the mistake happens. Usually a red flag, no matter what, even when they go into a situation for a bicycle store, when they say money is no object and you haven't met this person, usually that means that they have, obviously these types of things happen, but usually it just means they want to get in and out. They say money's no option. They want a bicycle that's usually on the higher end. Swipe the card and get out of there. He basically said that he's at work and he's going to have his wife come by and pick it up later that day. So I'm sitting there, I walk up to the counter, I hear him on the phone, I see him making a customer account, see him typing in the credit card information. I'm like, oh, nice, closing sale, give him a little fist pump. And then he closes, he's like, yeah, dude, the guy just called up and basically wants to pick up the bike later today. And like that. I was like, oh, cool. As we're working in the back room, I started to ask him questions like, so did you meet this guy? He's like, no, he just called up over the phone today. He said that money was no option. And it's for his son's birthday. I'm like, so immediately, I've been burned in the past too. I've got taken advantage of on credit card fraud before. But I was like, so you never met this guy. And he just gave you a credit card and you typed in over the phone. At that point, we have a system on our point of sale system. We can actually send a payment link, and that's what we should have done because we get better protection from our credit card processing machine. We probably get backed, and maybe it'll be, if they approved it, that we wouldn't get held for this, which we probably will be because of the fact that there was no physical card inside of our store. And usually when that happens, we don't get any kind of backing with our credit card machines. But he's like, yeah, I just typed in the credit card, and he said his wife's coming today. I said, hey, call back the customer, spin it to him like this, say, hey, there's obviously no issue, but just say, hey, there's an issue with the bank. They said that they just needed a proof of ID and proof of the credit card because it was just flagged. Maybe he can send us over a text link to our point of sale system to go ahead and verify that we have a matching name and matching credit card. He called the customer. It went to voicemail, and immediately again, it said it was like a text tone voicemail. So it's kind of like a burner phone where you call up, there's no voicemail set, and basically it's like a paid voicemail. Customer then called back, and again, he only spoke Spanish, so he talked to the Spanish speaker of our employee, and basically said, yeah, no problem, I'll send it over. He sent over his ID, and also a credit card. At the time, when we got the ID, obviously this is all hidden, this is exactly what the credit card information looked like. It was an American Express. It had the exact number on there, the valid through, and the exact name of the guy that matched the ID. So we're sitting there like, kind of matches, kind of makes sense, but I'm like, I've never seen anything like this. Like, I've never seen a pull up on this, even for a bank card, to get everything. And it even had the 404. I'm like, this looks like it's like a page or something. But still, nonetheless, we're kind of like, okay, so usually if it was fraud in that matter, they kind of be hesitant, but this guy seemed to have his information ready, and he sent it over. So we done all of our due diligence we could, and I was still kind of sketchy on the part of typing in, but I was like, whatever, it is what it is. So we start prepping the bike. He calls back. Our Spanish speaker employee is now on lunch break. I speak to German. He's just full on speaking Spanish, going a million miles a second. I say, hey man, I'm not fluent in Spanish, but I'm like, Javier, 5 minutos, lunch break, he'll be back. I was just trying to do my best I could. Out of nowhere, the man speaks pretty much perfect English and says, my wife is coming to the store now. She's picking up the bike. Is it ready? I said, yes. He goes, okay, I want to be quick. So again, I'm like, okay, this guy literally said he couldn't speak English before, but now he's speaking Spanish. Maybe he just felt comfortable. So again, I'm like, I'm not full red flag, but I'm just thinking to myself, hey, there could be a little bit of sketchiness here. I said, all right, we're getting the bike right now. He calls back 2 minutes later and says, Javier there? I say, no. He then calls, he persists to say, she's going to be there right now. Have the bike ready, please. So it seems like he wants to be in and out of the store. His wife comes into the store wearing full scrubs uniform, like a nurse's uniform or a doctor's appointment uniform. And again, any other situation, people be like, oh, that's just a normal, but no name tag, no nothing, no, hey, this is where I work at, just a nurse's or a scrubs uniform. And I'm like, in my head, because I've been burned so many times, I know you guys are thinking like, oh, he's just saying this, blah, blah, blah. No, but I'm like, I'm sketched out. I'm like, who would you have the least amount of suspect to? A nurse or something like that. So my brother's out there, he's talking to her, basically saying like, oh, we heard it's for your son's birthday, kind of probe checking the store as well. That's awesome, congratulations, just making small talk. She starts going on about she has 3 kids, and says that this one's the youngest and this one's the oldest. Very easy to talk to and very willing to talk as well. But she has an AirPod in the entire time, and she's still talking to someone on the phone. So as soon as I wheel out the bike to her, keep in mind this is an electric bike. They don't know what model it is. They've never seen a picture of this bicycle. It's for their son for his birthday. And immediately, again, like I said, anytime that anything's for my kids at all, I'm going to do some kind. It's 2024. It's not like he's like, oh, I don't know what product it is. Like, they could easily say, hey, send me a link, a picture, whatever. Never asked us for this at all. Just basically said we had an e-bike for $1,600. I wheeled this massive e-bike to this lady. And battery charge, everything. I go, this is your battery charge, this is everything. Doesn't ask me anything about the bike. Doesn't ask me about how to turn it on, how the modes work. Anything warranty with the bikes, any service plans with the bikes, nothing. Like what's included with the bicycle at all. Just basically says, can you help me get in the car? I go, sure. I thought that was kind of sketched out as well, but sure. I will start walking out the door. And like in my mind, I'm like, should we have security footage out front? Should we get footage of her license plate? She's walking out. I walk out to the thing. The seats are already down. No kid seats in the back of the car. So I'm like, ugh. Again, she said that she had 3 kids. They could be older, but she said their son was the oldest. I don't know. So I start loading into the car. It's a heavy e-bike, and then I start to notice that there's more product in the back of the car of bike-related products like a Yakima rear rack, helmets, and stuff like that. Newly box. And again, it's kind of a coincidence. Maybe it's all coincidence. I can't assume anything because it's retail, and you can't obviously go ahead and like everything seems to be going by the books, and it's more or less on us for not sending a payment link or not getting the car in person. But once that actually goes into the thing, she leaves, and I'm like, well, okay, I guess, everyone's kind of feeling good. Like, we have his license, we have his credit card information. It is what it is. That's all we can figure out. And at this point, also, we tried to look up the guy's name on internet to find a Facebook or anything like that. We couldn't find an account or anything like that. So we're like, it is what it is. It's a $1,600 e-bike that costs us X amount of dollars. Right after, I'm saying immediately after that lady leaves, another Spanish speaking individual comes into our store and says, "Hey, I just lost my job. I'm looking for an e-bike. Don't care about the price at all. I need to go ahead and get it for commuting." And the same Spanish guy that we had goes, "No way. I literally just had the e-bike that would be perfect for you that we just sold to another person. We got another one in the box in a medium. Let me show it to you." He starts to show it to the guy. They start speaking. No pushback on anything. No pushback on price. No pushback on anything. He didn't even see the bike. It's in a box. They didn't even show him the bike. They start going to the counter. He starts making a customer account and is trying to do it. He goes, "Hey, he got his name, he got his number, he got his first and last name, everything like that." As he's going to pay for the bicycle, he doesn't have a credit card. He pulls out Apple Pay. He pulls out basically a picture of this exact same thing. This pretty much a white box like this. Not the same card, but exactly the same picture like this. Exact same boom, exact same boom, exact same boom, exact same boom, exact. And again, keep in mind, we've never been this. We're in retail. And we're pretty. He's like, "Oh, it's Apple Pay. It's not working." And what he's trying to do is he's trying to bait my guy into asking him to go ahead and type in the card, basically saying, "Hey, it's Apple Pay." Again, my kid, the employee we have is kind of a younger guy. He's good with technology. He keeps on seeing the guy double click his phone to go into like Apple Pay, but as he's going and double clicking, it's just pulling up like he's like, "That's not Apple Pay." It's basically just showing Apple Cash with no cards there, and this is an app. And the guy's like, "Oh, I'm trying." He's like, and my employee starts to think, and he goes, "Hey man, that's an app." And so immediately I'm watching this all unfold behind it while I'm working. So I go out to my employee, I go, "Javier," I go, "Don't type in any card number for that guy. He has to swipe it. He has to do some kind of thing like that." As I tell him that, the guy's looking at me, seeing that. Immediately when Javier goes back out there, the guy goes to him in Spanish. He goes, "Hey, I got dropped off by a buddy out there because I have a car. Let me go out there and tell him something real quick. I'll be right back. Take 2 seconds." He goes outside, kind of fast walks out. Never see the guy again. So immediately after that point, I show this picture right here in front of your screen to my friend Javier. I said, "Hey, was that payment plan looking like this?" And he goes, "It's identical." I'm like, "Yes." I'm like, "We just got scammed out of a bike." So long story short is, don't ever type in credit card information on a point of sale system because you usually won't get backed by that processing machine. This stuff really did happen back in the day during 2008 or 2009. We called it kind of the Brazilian boom. 2008 was a recession here in America, but basically what it was is it lowered our value of the dollar, and everyone else's dollar was really strong. So people actually come over from different countries, Brazil, Chile, Venezuela, into our store to buy bicycles here because they were actually cheaper to buy them here than in their country because of the fact that our dollar was so cheap, and they take them back. Again, this led to scam and fraud and everything like that. But a really big thing was typing the credit card information, stolen credit cards, into the credit card machine and then getting charged back a year later. We got caught with 2 S-Works in the same day. An S-Works Tarmac and S-Works Epic doing the same thing. So long story short is we got scammed out of this e-bike. My employee felt horrible about it. He felt like he made a massive mistake. He, by any means, was like, "Hey, I think I have a pretty good judge of character." I'm like, "Hey, it's sales. I've been burned by a guy and his grandma. It's sales. It happens. It's retail. As long as you take it as a teachable moment, it's great." Luckily it's not an S-Works. Luckily it's not a $10,000 bike. It's a bike that was $1,600 that cost us, cheaper. And what do we do about that? If you guys are ever wondering, do we call a police report? Well, as of right now, nothing's gone through. The chargeback has not happened yet. Sometimes our credit card processing machine can go ahead and eat that charge for us because of how much money we've done. They might just say, "Hey, whatever, we're not going to charge you guys back." Maybe it's just an issue on our end. They might just eat it, but they might see this video and just be like, "Oh, you admitted to it." But basically, we're not going to claim insurance fraud on a bicycle like this because of the fact that, one, that will raise our insurance, and two, our deductible is like $10,000. So it makes no sense to do so on that. Really, it's just us eating that bicycle, learning about it, and it's a teachable moment. So if any of you guys are in this, I don't know if this scam is going around for a couple other people. I'm sure they're hitting everyone today. This usually happens in the bicycle industry. Like, we'll get calls from different bike stores, be like, "Hey, have you guys heard this?" And it's Miami, so there are scams around this area. But yeah, it's definitely a teachable moment. I felt horrible because obviously our guy felt horrible, and we've all been burned. I have, and every single other person in there has as well. It's just it's a crappy feeling. So I just thought it'd be a funny story. We lost money. a teachable moment, and also just to let you guys know, like, hey, has this ever happened? Do people ever try to steal bikes? Yes, and usually we don't claim the insurance because, like I said, to use an insurance deductible is stupid expensive, and also it raises your insurance rates out the butt. So really, we just have to eat it. And yeah, don't ever type in credit card unless it's a really good friend of yours or someone you trust and you know them for long periods of time, because of the fact that you will not be backed by your credit card company. But anyways, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the story time. Let me know if you guys have had any similar situations there as well in the past of your retail experiences. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.